All right, you guys, this is Courtney, and I was going to say From Will's Bloom, but I am changing my channel name to Cosmic Clarity Astrology, so please be sure to write that down or subscribe to my email list down below so that you don't miss a video. So today we're going to be talking about the Aquarius New Moon that's happening on February 9th. We're going to go over this for all the signs, which you can find links for those videos down below. I like to post the overview usually a day early. Sometimes I'll post them all together. So if you don't see those for the signs, check the next day. Okay, so this is an Aquarius new moon happening around 20 degrees of Aquarius. So if you have any planets around 20 degrees of the fixed signs, you are going to feel this the strongest. You are going to be kind of impulse or push to make some sort of advancement, some sort of progress in your life. So this is a very Aquarian new moon that's happening on the 9th, because not only is the sun and moon together in the sign of Aquarius, but it's also making a square to Uranus, which is the modern ruler of Aquarius. So it's really just this kind of authentic, pure Aquarian energy. And it's interesting because I did pull the Fool card. So there's some kind of new start or new beginning that is inherent to a new moon. But on top of that, it's squaring Uranus, which is indicating a change as well. However, when I see a new moon making a square to Uranus, usually there's some kind of new seed that's being planted as a result of some level of volatility, realization, discomfort, something shocking or surprising happening to us, or something in our life that we feel unsettled with, that we're like, I need to be free from this pattern. I need to be free from this situation, this existence in some form. And so it's usually the desire for a new beginning or some kind of change in our life that's coming from a dissatisfied, unsettled place, rather than this super inspiring, time of change. So it can feel a little bit chaotic. It can feel a little bit almost like stressful to the nervous system, because it's almost like trying to jolt us awake and into some personal realization, some personal truths, and aligning our life accordingly based off of that. And so this is not always going to be like the most comfortable type of new moon when I see something like this. Additionally, we have Saturn, which is the traditional ruler of Aquarius. And Saturn's in Pisces doing its thing, but it's opposite Black Moon Lilith. And I don't see a lot of astrologers talking about Black Moon Lilith, but I see this as one of these really potent parts of the chart that can represent a lot of things, which is probably why people aren't talking about it that much. So Black Moon Lilith very often can deal with themes of rejection, of shame, of feeling outcast, feeling different, comparing oneself to the norm or where everybody else is at in their lives, or what they have or who they are, and looking at yourself and feeling, again, shame for being different, for feeling separate. Or it could quite literally be that you're not fully accepted by a group or by this part of society, and you feel that sense of rejection or from people in your lives. So there's just this general feeling at this time where we can really see where we want to be with this Saturn and Pisces. We can see the ideal. We can see what we would really, really desire. But with it being opposite Black Moon Lilith, we can really get critical of ourselves around how we don't match that ideal, of how we're not fitting the standard, the prototype, the traditional kind of view of where we should be at or what things should look like based off of what we're wanting. So it can feel a time when there is quite a bit of comparison between people or to that idealized version of yourself. And it can feel a little bit uncomfortable because of that. We also have Jupiter in Aquarius, or sorry, definitely not Jupiter in Aquarius. We also have a Mercury in Aquarius squaring Jupiter in Taurus, both fixed signs. So I really see this. This is an exact aspect. It's quite strong. I have this natally, so I am very familiar with Jupiter and Uranus and Mercury squaring. So basically, I see these planets coming together as trying to bridge the gap from where we are now to where we want to be. And sometimes Jupiter in a square with Mercury can get a little bit ahead of itself. It can see that end version, and it can want to kind of skip the steps and be there. There's this a little bit of a sense of maybe impatience, but not necessarily impatience as much as this optimism of, maybe things will be a lot faster. Maybe things will be a lot easier. Maybe it won't take as long. Maybe I don't need to save as much money or whatever it is. And so sometimes it can get a little ahead of itself. But how I like these coming together is that Mercury is in Aquarius, which is very much tapped into what is that dream and what are those big pictures that I can take to or what is the big picture? Because I do see Aquarius as also being a future oriented sign. So there is this focus on what's ahead, on larger paths, and kind of the longevity scale rather than the details and zoomed into what is right in front of it. So I like that Mercury's in this sign because it feels a little bit more compatible with Jupiter, but there just might be some things in the physical material world with Jupiter being in Taurus that really need to be figured out first, that really need to be devoted to or invested in some capacity for this to actually happen. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is to consider the physical limitations while also considering the big goal and being optimistic and feeling like, yes, it's going to work out well, but not getting ahead of ourselves and kind of thinking it's going to go faster, be easier, take less energy, less effort or whatever. So I think that's going to be the hardest thing, is kind of screwing our head on straight and having this really strong sense of both logic and faith in the situation. I think that's both of them are important. How can we ground into the current reality, address our current limitations, address our current issues, while also being tapped into the ideal, the dream, the vision, where we're headed, having hope, believing you're living that to some extent now for manifestation purposes, and straddling both realities. So one of the things I'm seeing here very strongly is that I feel like we're going to have new ideas on how to overcome some sense of lack in our life. For some of us, this might be literal lack, like financial lack. For some of us, this might be feeling like we're lacking the sense of connection. We're lacking a partner. Maybe we're lacking the right place to live. This is going to depend on each person. But I'm really, again, getting the sense that there's some feeling of being behind or not having what you need, or feeling that scarcity mindset around something, and really being tuned into that at this new moon. And it's not doing that to torture you. It's a new moon with beginnings. So it's giving us the opportunity with this Page of Swords to have new ideas come in about how to resolve that issue. And to me, this is also Mercury square Jupiter. We're getting these downloads and these visions about the future, about what we could do to resolve the problem in our current material reality, where we are experiencing some sort of lack, some sort of imbalance or scarcity. And so I really feel like there is an unmet need. There is something that isn't quite working. There's something that isn't enough, that doesn't exist yet for us. And we're really feeling the yearning of that, or the absence of that. And this Mercury square Jupiter is going to give us the information and help us conceptualize things or think about things differently than we normally would, in order to be able to come up with really ideal or progressive, unique solutions to the problem. Maybe we have to tackle this from a new angle. Maybe we have to try something we haven't tried before. Think about something in a way that we haven't thought about before, which is very Mercury and Aquarius. So think about being inventive, making changes, experimenting, adapting, and trying on these ideas that come to you at this time. I did pull the new path card. So I really, again, I'm feeling like this is going to start a big new path for us in a way that's going to unfold over these next 6 months or so, and help us achieve some material, physical reality goal, I guess. I think also something that's super important at the time of this new moon is the need to take action. This is not just a time of conjecture or thinking about things, philosophizing, imagining. No, this is a time of needing to take inspired action. And I see that because Mars is kind of wedged between Venus right now and Pluto. So it's getting really resolute and determined with Pluto. And it's also being inspired by Venus, by the things that it values, by the desire for the things that it feels the absence of. So Mars is both inspired and resolute and determined. And so I love that with this action card. It's like really telling us to hone in on our inner strength and our capacity for leadership over our lives and over our daily decisions that can create the goals that we want, or can physically create the reality that we're looking for. So one other thing I'm seeing with this, with Pluto next to Mars, is the need to transmute the difficult emotions and energies that arise with the feeling of the lack or the absence of that thing in our life, or the feeling of the current limitations, or the feeling that can come where we feel like we're not enough, or we're comparing ourselves, or we're ashamed, that comes along with that absence, or that being behind, or whatever it is. And so there's a need to transmute those difficult emotions through action, and not just being psychologically aware and kind of sitting and processing emotionally. That's not really what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this as forward movement. Venus and Mars are in Capricorn. They want us to solidify things. They want us to create a plan. So if you're feeling some type of way, what are you actually doing in your day-to-day life to get you out of that turmoil, to get you out of that emotional response? So I think that not only is it about that, but it's about also having patience, perseverance, confidence, trusting in yourself that you can actually take those steps, and not only that you can take them, but that they will get you the result that you're looking for if you're willing to try new things. And that is what this new moon is really about. I see again this new beginning with the Fool card followed by the Four of Wands. And I see that really strongly with Jupiter sextiling Saturn, which is the ruler of this new moon. So Jupiter sextiling Saturn is saying that if you're willing to take that leap, if you're willing to start that new path, take those daily actions, then you will lead to a positive result with this Four of Wands. This is a card of homecoming. This is a card of feeling like I've arrived there. And right now, I think we're seeing that distance between being out alone, solo on the road, and not having what we want. And we're seeing out in the distance that place that's our home, that feeling of we've made it, we're there. And I definitely am seeing with this Jupiter sextile Saturn that we are going to get there. We just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other and try new things with this Fool card. Take the new path. It's almost like you've been trying something, or you've been wanting something, and maybe there's certain things that you haven't actually put into practice, and the path appears before you. The actions make themselves clear. The ideas come, and then we have to actually just go down that path, and eventually we will arrive at our destination. So this Jupiter sextile Saturn is really, really positive. It's pretty much exact. It's separating a little bit, but it's exact at the time of this new moon. So it's really indicating to us that these are favorable times. Even though they might feel emotionally uncomfortable, they are very favorable for building the strong foundations of our future. So oftentimes it's through that level of discomfort, or through things going wrong, that we then eventually find what goes right, or we find kind of like our match, or the thing that we're looking for. But it's very rare that things just come super easily and they take no effort and things don't go wrong. That's not life. And I think this is a great example of that during the time of this Aquarius new moon. And just remember that Aquarius is often about feeling different or rejected, or not a part of, again, where society wants us to be at a certain period of time. And I think it's about also accepting that where we are, and with the Aquarius energy, doing something else, doing something that you haven't tried before. The inventor is aligned with Aquarius energy. So we are needing to invent solutions to overcome maybe a current obstacle, or this feeling of stagnation, or whatever that is that we're experiencing in some sort of lack in our life. This Aquarius energy wants us to think our way out of it, and then take action on those thoughts in order to concretize this into reality. So let's go ahead and dive into what this is going to look like for all of the rising and sun signs. And don't forget to subscribe to my email list down below so that you don't miss a video. Remember, I am changing my brand name to Cosmic Clarity Astrology, and I can't wait to see you guys there. Bye.